how did they manage to build the complicated Tower of Babel? Now, let's see what the story really says. And the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, so we're going to be dealing with the language of Hebrew. Let's dig into it, starting with verse 1. Okay, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now, the first words we want to look at is whole earth, which in Hebrew is ha'aretz, which means the people of the land, not of the whole earth, but of a particular land. As a matter of fact, in Israel, the oldest daily newspaper is called the Haaretz, which means the people of the land. Okay, the next word we want to look at is one, which in Hebrew is akkad, which means unity, united. The next word is language, which in Hebrew is safa, which means as a body part or binding. And the last word we want to look at is speech, which in Hebrew is dabar, which means business or acts or by extension. Now let's look at verse 1 again. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now let's look at it in Hebrew, what it really says. And the people of the land was united as body parts, binding, and of one business, one act, and by one extension. Now let's get into verse 2. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Okay, the first words is came to pass, which in Hebrew is hayah, which means something happened, or fallout, or something occurred. The next word is journeyed. As some of y'all may know this already, it's nasa, but it means in Hebrew, made, or to be pulled out. Now the next word is east, which is kadem in Hebrew, which means old, ancient, before, or aforetime. Now you start to understand what I mean. Now in the Hebrew manuscripts, the ones that they use to create the Bible, the word is kadem, which doesn't mean east, it means aforetime. So why did they put east in the Bible? Now the next word is land, which in Hebrew is eretz, which comes from Sheol. And Sheol in Hebrew means hell or underworld or place of no return. And the last word in the verse is dwelt. In Hebrew is yashab, which means to sit or inhabitants. Okay, so verse 2 says, and it came to pass that they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and dwelt there. But what it says in the Hebrew manuscript, and something happened. They was made to pull out from where they was before and go to a plain, which plain actually is Bakwa in Hebrew, which means valley, in hell or underworld, a place of no return. So we have so far a people from a land who was united, who did their business as one by one extension, who was made to leave the land that they was in before to go to a place that was like hell. Now let's get into verse 3. Okay, verse 3. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Now this is where it started to get kind of loopy. Now right off the bat, we got the first words, they said. Now they said in Hebrew is amar, which means to say in your heart, which is where we get amor or amore, which means love or a feeling of great affection. Now the next word is one, and as I said before, one is akkad, which means unity. But now I have to explain this because one here is something different. Now, and I know these words have a lot of different meanings to it, a lot of different definitions, and I don't want you to think I'm picking and choosing which words to use. What you have to do is get a Bible in its original Hebrew and Greek language, and then get a Bible you have now, and then match the words up, and then look at the difference between the words in Hebrew and the words in English. Now, in the Hebrew manuscript, the word is one is ish. So where they put one at in your Bible, they put ish in that place in the Hebrew manuscript. And ish means man or husband. Now the next word is another, which in Hebrew is ria, which means companion. And the next words are go to, which is yahab, which in Hebrew means to ascribe, or because something happened, you did this. Now, the next words is make brick. Now, this one is kind of crazy because make brick. Brick is laban, and laban in Hebrew means be white. Now, why would they put brick there if in the ancient manuscripts it says laban, which means be white? The next word is burn them thoroughly, which is aspranal in Hebrew, which means with all effort, diligence, careful and persistent work or effort. And the last word is slime, which in Hebrew is chamar, which means pitch, like pitch black. Now, let's look at what we get so far. And it reads, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Now in the Hebrew it's saying, because this happened to us, let us be white with persistent work and effort. And as they was white and plummeted, and the word there is stone, but in Hebrew is eben, which means to plummet. And their pitch or color had they for mortar, and mortar is Merkabah, which means to stay. So which their color had them to stay. They stayed with that color. Now the story so far is you had these people who was united and worked as one, and it was forced from their land into a place that was like hell. Now the man said to the woman, to the companion, that since this happened to us, let us be white, or let us make brick. Let us be like the people who did this to us. Now, you have to understand that this is a metaphorical story. It's all paraphrase. You have to decode the code. Now, in case you ain't figure it out, the people that it's talking about are black people, Africans. And the land that was like hell is the desert, or Egypt. Now, let's keep going and see how this turned out. Okay, verse 4 says, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now, let's look at what this really says in Hebrew. Okay, so the first word is build, which is bana, which means reestablish or rebuild. The next word is city, which is ayr, which means a place well guarded. The next word is tower, which means migdal, meaning a podium or a platform. The next word is ta. In Hebrew, it's rosh. Now, rosh meaning a chief or a head chief or leader. Now, heaven in Hebrew means shamayim, meaning abode of God or the divine ones. Now, make is asa, which means to put in order or to attend to. And the last word for the verse is name, which is shem, which means your reputation or glory designated by God, a memorial or monument. Now, verse 4 reads, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now understand that the people that it's talking about in verse 4 is not the same people as before. They are descendants of those people. And we're going to find out how we know that in a second. Now it reads, and they said, let us go rebuild or reestablish a well-guarded place and a podium or platform where our chief or person in charge may reach the abode of God and the divine ones. Let us put in order or attend to our reputation as glory designated by God before we get scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now, let's go into 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. Now, the first word is Lord. Now, in the Hebrew, it's 4 letters, Y-H-U-H. Then that was changed to Jehovah, then to Yahweh. Now, we've been taught that Lord in this verse means God. God came down. But Lord in Hebrew simply means the person who is in charge, or a person who has authority over others. Now think about when you see those old English movies and the Baron or the Count in those movies, the people refer to him as Lord. They say, yes, my Lord. But really, Lord just means the person who is in charge. Now the next word we have is see, which is ra'ah in Hebrew, which means to access or become aware of or to make an inspection. The next word is children, which is ben, B-E-N, which is descendants or son of, like Judah ben Hur or ben Hur. Now ben Hur means son of Hur, and Hur was a companion of Moses and Aaron in the Hebrew Bible, and he was from the tribe of Judah. Now so far we got the people were trying to make a comeback, these descendants of the people who said let us be white. They was trying to make a comeback, and what we got is the people who are in charge going down to see what's going on. So let's go to verse 6. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Now the first word is this, which is zeh in Hebrew, which means eclectically, which means selecting or employing individual elements from a variety of sources. The next word is begin, which is chalal, which means to pollute or to violate what has been set in place. The last word is restrain, which is gora, which is to hinder or take away or diminished. Now let's go on to 7. Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. The first word is confound, which means bala in Hebrew, which the definition is to mix or mingle or to infiltrate and render powerless. The next word is understand, which is shama, which means to hear intelligently, to comprehend. Now that's the end of 7. This is 8. This is the last verse we got to translate because we don't need to do 9. So let's look at 8, and it says, so the Lord scattered them abroad from hence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Now the first word is scatter, which is zara, which means to winnow, and winnow means to remove people or things from a group until only the best ones are left. And the last word we find through this thing is left off, which is kadal in Hebrew, which means to cease or fail or deserted. Now let's look at verses 6 through 9 and see what the Hebrew manuscript is saying in Hebrew. Now it's saying that the people in power said they are united, they are one. They are using elements from a variety of sources to violate what we have set in place. Now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Because they did this, let us go infiltrate them and render them powerless, so that they won't be able to understand or comprehend intelligently. So the people in power removed the ones they couldn't control until the best ones was left. And they ceased or deserted or fell at building their platform, their name, and place among the divine ones. Okay, so I just read to you from the Bible a story that has a coded story within the story when you take the words back to its original Hebrew language. Now this story basically is saying that there was a people who was united, who worked as one, who was taken away from their land and sent to a place that was like hell. And instead of fighting back, these people said, we can't beat them, let's join them, and decided to be like the people who did this to them. Now later the ancestors basically said, hey, let's reclaim what we were and rebuild our place that we came from, and let us build us a platform or a podium where our chief or head person can reach the divine ones or God. Now the people in power saw what they was doing and said, hey, didn't we just stop them from doing this the first time, or didn't we stop them from becoming something better the first time? And let's go down and confound their speech, or let's go down and infiltrate them and render them powerless so they can't do this. And they went down there and did just that. They took out the people who they couldn't control and left the people who they could control, or the good ones. And because they did that, the people fell at reaching their task or building a tower or rebuilding their city. Now this story doesn't make any sense when you read it in the Bible as is, because it don't make sense when it says that the Lord, or we supposed to believe that's God, scattered them and confounded their speech, which means to confuse them. It means Babel. I mean, if you can't talk and communicate, how can you do something as complicated as build a tower, especially the way they describe the Tower of Babel? So how did the tower get built if God came down to confound his speech? See, the story only makes sense when you transfer the words back to its original Hebrew language. When you do that, you can see a whole different story, and the story starts to make sense. Now, it's important for me to say that this is a metaphorical story, meaning you have to decode this story as well. Now, what the Bible is, as I will show you in the second video, this is kind of sort of like a code book. And it's really made for people that's in secret societies. It's not really made for the regular person. We are meant to learn the Bible as is. You're not supposed to be digging into this stuff, what I'm showing you now. You're not supposed to even know it. So as you can see, when you start taking these words back to its original language, things change. Meanings change. And that's what has taken place. Now, you got a lot of people coming out saying Bible prophecy is being fulfilled and this and that. What you have is the codes. You have the people who are bringing about this change, bringing about Bible prophecy. So in other words, the people who told you this stuff was going to happen in the Bible are the people who is making it happen. Any type of celestial event, any type of red moon or blood moon, this stuff has happened already, and it has been cataloged. Ancient races have cataloged blood moons. They've cataloged full moons. That's how we know about them. So before the Bible was ever even written, we already knew about these things. So all they did was put it into the Bible so you can think later on it's something prophetic. It's not. It's not something that is prophecy. It's something that has happened already and that they knew was happening and knew will only happen in this generation or that generation. So when they put it in the Bible, they can make it look like they had some kind of prophecy. It'll keep you a believer. That's what it's doing. But it's not nothing new. Everything that you've seen in this time that's coming up, it's just they used it and they put it in there because that's the time frame where they are going to be completing their plan. So what they're basically, these people are unbelievably organized. They have stuck to their plan. They have seriously stuck to their plan for centuries. So while you can't fathom spending your whole life to make an agenda come true that you'll never see come true, this is exactly what these secret societies do. So while you think that the people who started this stuff hundreds of years ago, who would never see it come into fruition, would dedicate their lives to such a thing, this is what they have done. And they have all lived rich, wonderful, fulfilling lives, making this plan come into place. And in 2015, 2016, we are going to see the climax of that plan come into place. And Barack Obama is going to be the one who ushers it in by starting a war. World War III, if it comes to be. See, one of the things I want you to take from this is you need to understand it's up to the people. You can change everything. See, they want you to believe in this religion and believe that everything is set. Everything is written. Nothing we can do about it. You just got to sit back and let the Lord handle it. This is what they want you to believe. You have seen this stuff everywhere. You have seen that the Twin Towers was an inside job. People do nothing. You have seen all the brutality by police. People do nothing. You are marching and begging the very people who are responsible for all of the heinous things that's going on. Then you turn around and march and ask them to change it when they are the same people who are the cause of it. They're not going to change anything. Anything that the news tells you is what they want you to know. What's about to occur, what's about to happen, has been planned out for hundreds of years. And unless America wakes up, it's going to be chaos the next 2 years. They want nothing short of total destruction of America. Look at what we have seen. They've given you signs. You remember from the tennis match with Serena Williams, the flag falling. The flag fell on the part that said, and our flag was still there, then the flag falls. Remember the flag split in the World Series. Remember Miss America, she fell. I mean, they're just trying to give you hints that America is going to fall. It has to fall. Now, on top of that, you have China. You have China making a replica of Manhattan. China building these massive cities in China. They built a replica of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. They're building these massive cities that keep going up, and everybody's looking at them like they're crazy. They're not crazy, they just know what's about to happen in America. Why you say
This is Ujiapu. It is China's take on Manhattan. In 2008, an ancient fishing village on an inconspicuous bend of the High River was cleared away, and this forest of skyscrapers were planted in its place. Set for completion in 2019, Ujiapu will be the polar opposite of what was here before. With a replica going up of the Rockefeller Center and a set of towers that look very much like the original World Trade Center, it's not too far-fetched to call this place a knockoff. But it is a knockoff like the world has never seen before. When completed, Ujiapu will cover nearly 4 square kilometers in area, making it the largest financial district in the world. The Ujiapu development is in Tianjin, which is one of the largest and most important metropolises in China. Sitting around 100 miles from Beijing, it aims to be northern China's next financial hub. Though Ujiapu will resemble Manhattan's financial district, its design was not half-baked in some shady corner of a half-rate architectural swash-up. No, China called in the big guns for this project. The replica of the Rockefeller Center and the Ujiapu Twin Towers are being handled by the China arm of Tishman Speyer, the same architectural firm that built the original World Trade Center, and are currently in the process of completing one WTC.
while you sitting up there dick eating these celebrities and praising these celebrities, they are buying property in Europe. Because you have to realize that this prophecy, why is this prophecy only affecting America? Think about it. All of the death and destruction that's supposed to take place is supposed to go down in America. America's supposed to be Babylon. New York's supposed to be Babylon. You actually have a Babylon in New York, by the way. But the Bible says, come out of her. It's trying to tell you something. It's America. Now, I have another reason why I believe America, something that's going to happen in America, but I don't have enough research to get into that yet. But if I'm doing the research now, and if I find anything more concrete, and I'll do a video on it. But you people is just so blind to the facts, and so many people is putting their faith in this religion, and I feel bad for the people like me and people that's stuck in America that don't have the means and the ways to get out of there, that's begging these people to just wake up and do something. And these people who are not doing anything, these religious people who are just sitting back and waiting for Jesus to come, are going to be the downfall of some very good people, because they're going to refuse to help. So the Bible speaks about the wars and everything that the Antichrist is going to bring. And that's exactly what Obama was telling you. He was saying that he's getting ready to bring about the destruction of America through war. You know, through so much pain and suffering, and you black people look up to him, because they're not going to have a white man be the face of so much death and destruction that's about to happen in America over the next 2 years. A white man is not going to take credit for that. That's why they put a black man in the White House. How do you get a black president and so much crime and violence going on against black people? That should tell you something right there. They don't want the people to unite. It's just not a black-white thing. Why do you got black people looking at white people funny? White people looking at black people funny? They are so close to completing their agenda. So close. And the only thing that's stopping them is the people. We can stop everything. The people can shut it all down. Now, you got to realize, as I said earlier, these people are in every single facet of America, of your science, your technology, your school, everything. First of all, there's no beating them on the battlefield. You can forget about that. So if you're thinking that, okay, well, we just going to all get together and we all going to get our guns and they ain't going to be able to stand a chance against us. Nah, the time for that's past. The weapons they got now, they can wipe out whole states, whole cities. But just, you've seen the bombs they got. You've seen what happened in Syria when they dropped those chemical weapons and everybody just went to sleep. That was it. They're gone. There's no beating them on the battlefield. This is the only shot y'all got. And I don't want to be the one that said, I told you so. Because The rest of the world is going to go on. America's going to be what it becomes. The rest of the world is going to go on. They talk about that 7 years of tribulation. Whoever's stuck in America during that time, they're going to go through some hell until America gets fixed. But the rest of the world is going to go on. The rest of the world will be fine. Trust me. And they are already preparing for it. China's been preparing for it. But it's America is where everything is going to go wrong. America. It tells you. Daniel's talking about Russia attacking America with air power. I don't want to go into all that Bible stuff because that's all bullshit. But it's a setup. But what you need to do, and I'm not trying to scare nobody, I just want you to really wake up and wake other people up and get them to realize that you have crazy, sick motherfucking people who are trying to bring an agenda about, who are the reason that Bible prophecy is coming true. Now, I wish I had more time to make this video longer because there's so much that I'm leaving out. There's so much more to the story, but I realize when I make these videos long, people don't want to watch them. So I try to keep them short, keep them under an hour and a half at least. You know, when there's a lot of information I got to get in there. But it's a lot more to this. And for people who are knowledgeable, the ones who have been watching my videos, I mean, you can kind of take what I'm saying and put it in the context and it'll make sense to you. To some other people, you're probably like, it's some more bullshit. I don't believe this stuff. And that's exactly what they want you to do. You know, when this stuff go down, y'all gonna sit back and think some Jesus coming on a white horse and all that, and this shit ain't gonna happen. You gotta remember, Jesus coming back means their plan is done. So that means they're finished. Their plan is done. They've won. And you supposed to chill for 7 years waiting for Jesus. Like, Jesus gonna come. But think about that, the thinking in that. I mean, what God will let you suffer for 7 years? Well, what God will let you suffer this long? So I wanted to do this video, and like I said, it's a lot more I wish I could add to it, but I don't want to make it too long. It's already too long as it is. But I just want to say to the people who follow what I follow, and you know, who's been listening to my videos and watching them and paying attention, to just get your money together. Seriously, get your passport together, and you be ready to get the hell out of America when it's time. I'm serious, because if people are not going to wake up, you ain't got to die there. Get the hell out of there, and you know, go somewhere. Get the hell out of the country, stack some money, and get the fuck out of America, because it's going to be crazy there. And everything that I'm seeing, I mean, I know, other people know, and the economy is going down. The dollar's going to crash. It's going to be chaos there. There's no stopping it. But the crazy thing is, you can stop it. The people can just go and shut it down. You have to realize they are in every facet of American society. So we're not talking about just getting rid of the senators and president and all that. We're talking about America needs a complete overhaul. I mean, you got to get rid of the Congress, the senators. You got to really start looking at professors and doctors and lawyers and the whole judicial system. All that shit is corrupt. It's all part of the same beast. And all that shit is set up against the American people. It's all one big fuck. And as soon as people realize that, because they got y'all hooked on patriotism that they created America. They made you patriots so you would die for their agenda. They got you hooked on that when it's all bullshit. And now they're about to bring their plan together. And it's a shame, because America was a setup from the rip. And it's sad to say that, but it is what it is. The people can change it to what it was supposed to be. The people can make it what it should be. But the people need to wake up and stop looking at black and white and stop fighting, because it's almost too late. And they are about to win. They're about to drop that hammer. Curtain about to close. Seriously. So, to those people, man, I feel bad. I got a lot of family still in America. I'm trying to wake people up, and hopefully everybody wake up and make a change. You need to go and just really get rid of Congress, get rid of the president, do something. Like, I don't know. But if it's looking like it's not going to happen, when you start seeing that change, I'm going to give you a word of advice. I'm going to give you the warning signs. First of all, when you see the EBT, When you see the EBT food stamp cards start to have problems, that's a sign. When you see credit cards start to have a problem, that's a sign. When they start talking about viruses, like somebody trying to use a computer virus to shut down the banks, that's a sign. And when they come on the news and say that the banks are closed, if that happens, the banks are closed and nobody can go to the banks because of some kind of computer virus or whatever excuse they use, you probably got 72 hours to get the fuck out of America then, before they declare martial law. Trust me, because that means the dollar just crashed. Pay attention to China, watch C-SPAN, find out what's going on. I'm telling you, the next 2 years, you're going to see things in America that is unheard of, that is going to blow your mind. This shit is all a distraction. America is going to go two ways. Either the people are going to fix it or they're going to take over. It's up to y'all. And again, thanks for watching, and like, comment, share, and please, if I do make another video, that's going to be like a big warning as far as like what's about to happen. So look out for that video, and hopefully things get better there. Hopefully people wake up, and if not, it's going to be crazy. But thanks for watching.